right. All right. Hold on a second. All right. Hold on a second. Apologize if you guys could hear me multiple times there. Hello. I'll just call you French nationalist because that's who you have always been. I cannot really say that name. I apologize. But yeah, I'm live today. So how you doing? French Empire. Okay. I'll just call you French if that's fine. Anyways, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Great, that's good. That's good. Let me go ahead and get this. Hold on, have I did that? Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, so I'm probably just gonna wait for some more people to join in. I did just announce the link in the Life of Weather Discord server, so yeah. Make sure to join that, by the way, if you guys haven't joined it yet. Link is in the description. Would be very thankful if you did join it. Anyways, all right. You think I should start now, or should I maybe wait a little longer? I was just wanting to wait so I could wait for people to join in. All right, I'm gonna go and get started on this now. Anyways, so yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. Well, there's only 2 people in here, but hopefully people will join as we do continue. So today is November 7th, of course, and we do have a tropical storm right now in the Atlantic Ocean just off of Cuba. And of course it's November. I mean, it still is hurricane season. Of course, they are not as common at this time of year as they are back in August, September, and October, but still they can happen. And the thing is, they can even happen outside of hurricane season, even in May. That's when we had Arthur and Bertha this year, back in May. So, anyways, yeah. How many hurricanes have we have? How many hurricanes have been this year? I believe around 11. 11 or 12 hurricanes this year. And 4 major hurricanes. 5 actually, because Ada made it the 5th major hurricane of the year. So, which is very interesting. Oh, just tropical systems. Around 29. 29 named storms this year. And 30 total depressions, which is very insane. By the way, this has been a crazy hurricane season. I think we all know that. A lot of activity this year. It'll be a hurricane season a lot of people might look back to, thinking that this is just the most active hurricane season. I mean, it's a lot has happened. Something fortunate about this year, though, is that we haven't seen one Category 5 hurricane, which is very interesting to see, because if you see a hurricane season like that, you'd be like, oh, there'd probably be like 4 different Category 5 hurricanes, but surprisingly, we haven't had one, which is good. So that's good news about this hurricane season, and also it hasn't done either. But still, the most damaging storm this year so far is Hurricane Laura. So, what was that hurricane that struck right past DC in the Chesapeake Bay? Hurricane Isaias. I do remember that one. Hurricane Isaias was the storm that actually struck most of the East Coast. So, hello, NB Origin. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. If you are, great to hear. We're just discussing a little bit about what we've seen this hurricane season, because it has been a very active hurricane season. Sorry. A lot has happened. Surprisingly, we haven't seen no Category 5s. So that's good news about this hurricane season. That's one good news. Or one positive news about this hurricane season is that we haven't seen one Category 5 hurricane. And I don't think we will, because it is quite late in the season. So, well, actually, I probably shouldn't say that, because it is still possible. Ada was close to being one, which is the storm that we're seeing right off of the coast of Cuba, which is actually about to make landfall tonight. So that is something that I will probably be keeping an eye on, is landfall for Ada tonight. So yeah, I'm surprised 2017 had 3 Category 5s. Yeah, 2017 was a very active one too. That one, 2005, 2017, and this year are just crazy hurricane seasons. It is. Let's get that out of here. But anyways, yeah, a lot has happened this hurricane season, believe it or not. And 10 landfalling hurricanes is insane. So that's another thing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to go and get into the discussion for Hurricane Ada, Tropical Storm Ada. Who knows if it'll become a hurricane? Don't think so, but it is possible. Let's not keep that down low too much, because it is possible it might become a hurricane, but it may not. It's projected not to become a hurricane. But anyways, yeah. Sandy was devastating for the East Coast. Sandy was a huge hurricane. That is very true. That is actually why it did a lot of damage. It's because of how large it was and how widespread everything was. So, and also how long-lasting everything was, too. So, and that's the thing. The bigger the storm is, the longer lasting the storm will. And it also depends on how fast it moves. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started on the discussion about Ada. Right now, we are seeing tropical storm warnings in the Caribbean, Southwest Atlantic. Actually, let's get to this so I can say exactly where they are. So, tropical storm warnings in Cuba, on the coast of Cuba, and Florida. Southern Florida is seeing tropical storm warnings from Eta. So, if the cone for Eta is correct, the west coast of Florida will get their first tropical storm warning, which they actually did. So, yeah, and also we're seeing tropical storm watches on the western tip of Cuba and on the Florida right there in the yellow, just north of the tropical storm tropical storm warning. We're also seeing tropical storm warnings for the Bahamas, parts of the Bahamas, which is interesting. So, yeah, this here is the cone. It is going to be making landfall in Cuba, and then it is going to move out of Cuba, and then it'll strike the Keys, and then might even strike the main part of Florida, right there, southern Florida, and then it'll potentially just ride up the coast of Florida, and then potentially might make landfall. I forgot to get this thing open. It might make landfall somewhere in here. Don't think you guys can see that. Somewhere in there. So landfall for the Panhandle is possible. So that is something that I will probably keep an eye on, because it could make landfall in the Panhandle, and then the remnants could potentially even move up the coast, kind of similar to what Michael did, so back in 2018. So I really want to visit NYC this year, but I don't know if I should because of COVID. Yeah, there's a lot of COVID stuff going on there. Anyways, arrival time for tropical storm force winds. Of course, here's the storm. That's where the center is, right where that little hurricane symbol is. And then at around Sunday, 2 p.m. To 8 p.m. is when they will arrive to Florida, as we are seeing there. So Sunday will be a day for Florida for the storm. And then tonight into tomorrow, Cuba will be getting impacted by the storm. Saturday 8 p.m. to Sunday 2 a.m. is when they will arrive to Cuba. So, and it is very close to making landfall in Cuba at the moment. Also, something I've also noticed is that it's actually kind of slow moving, as we are seeing. It took it a really long time to make landfall down in Nicaragua and then move out from Honduras. It was probably over land for maybe a few days, maybe 4 or 5. So it was over there for quite a while. Surprisingly, it did not die. Well, I mean, it was close, but it did not. It is right now a tropical storm, of course. Anyways, my birthday is in the early next year, so if COVID is still there, then my birthday won't be that good. I mean, there's ways that you can make your birthday good. I mean, anyways, speaking of your birthday, I guess happy, very early birthday, if that's something I should say. And anyway, Oh, your birthday's in February. So is mine. Um, yeah, it's pretty early next year. Guess all of our birthdays are early next year. Well, everyone in the chat anyway, especially me. Um, all of our birthdays are in February. That's funny. Um, we are getting kind of off topic. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I guess it kind of blows away time. Um, so yeah, that's kind of funny though. Long Island's rate of COVID cases has been very low recently. That's good. That is pretty good. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to topic here. Keep discussing about Tropical Storm Eta. It's probably what I should have been doing this whole time, but I kind of haven't. Been kind of going on with the chat. Um, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the flash flooding potential. There is quite a lot of rain to drop, especially right here. 10 inches of rain is quite a lot, so flash flooding is very likely in this area here for Miami. And in the orange, we are seeing 6 inches of rain. Yellow 4 inches, dark green 2, and the light green or lime green 1 inch of rain, which isn't. I mean, it can be a lot of rain, 1 inch. So Electro always laughs at the force of Jim Cantori. I mean, you always say stuff about him in the Discord. So where did my thing go? What? Oh. Okay, let me put it there. Anyways, so that's for the rainfall amounts. For flash flood potential, we are right now seeing a 10% slight in the yellow there, which it could happen. Very light. Well, it's possible. Marginal, not very widespread flash flooding, but of course still possible for flash flooding in that area. So flash flood watch probably would be issued all in there. Well, probably in the slight anyway, and then probably in a flood watch. Just a regular flood watch might be issued in the marginal. Miami needs to get a break of rain. Miami is like 1.5 feet of rain above average. That is pretty high. That's a lot of rain. I mean, they do get a lot of rain, but 1.5 feet above average, that just means that they've had a wet year this year. We're not even over with the year just yet. We still have a couple months left of this year. I don't even know how to say it. It's just this insane year. Maybe we all can agree on that. So, peak storm surge. Of course, it happens in all tropical systems when they make landfall. This one says at most of 2 to 4 feet. We have seen more, but I mean, 2 to 4 foot storm surge can still do damage. So that's something to keep in mind. Storm surge is a very dangerous thing. It's pretty much coastal flooding, if that's what you want to say it as. So, um, and evacuations, I mean, if you're told to evacuate, I would leave, because, I mean, there's a reason why they tell you to evacuate, and it's probably for all of the storm surge. That's a huge reason why evacuations are called for storm surge. And also extremely high winds, that could be another one, and rain could be another one. But a lot of the times they are for storm surge. Storm surge, of course, is very dangerous, extremely dangerous thing in hurricanes, so that is always something to keep in mind. So this is what we have on the National Hurricane Center for hurricane or tropical storm Eta, which who knows if it will become a hurricane. So here's what we're seeing right now for storm surge. We are seeing a storm surge watch for the Florida Keys and southern Florida, Miami, and Naples, I believe, is right there. Yep, Naples. Southern Florida is seeing storm surge watches. No warnings yet, but those could get issued very soon. Advisory 30 will be issued at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday, November 7th, which, I mean, that was earlier. So these are all the watches and warnings. Let me go back to this here. So as for the storm surge warnings and watches, so we're going to take a look at what it's at right now. So yes, of course, off the Cuba coast, or it's off the coast of Cuba. Maximum sustained winds are at 65 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure of 991 millibars. And the location is at 20 degrees north and 80 degrees west. And the movement is northeast at 14 miles an hour, 12 knots. If Eta strengthens to a strong 60 to 65 mile an hour tropical storm surge could be risen a little higher. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I remember once Zeta hit land, it zoomed across the southeast. Yeah, Zeta, tropical storm Zeta caused problems all over the place. It was really quick. It caused a lot of problems, especially in Louisiana and Mississippi down here. It also caused a lot of problems in Alabama and Georgia. Believe it or not, it was pretty much a tropical storm the whole time it was on land. Even impacted the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, D.C., Maryland, and Delaware. A lot of rain and quite a lot of wind actually did impact all those areas in through here, so it caused quite a lot of stuff to happen in all those areas. So it was interesting to see. I remember when the Northeast had a wind advisory when Zeta reached the Northeast. It was windy outside. I don't think that was from Zeta. But I remember when there was actually a wind advisory not too long ago. It was maybe, I don't know, like a few days after Zeta hit the southeast and mid-Atlantic. Yeah, there was a wind advisory that stretched from Virginia and West Virginia all the way up into the Northeast. So and winds were gusting at around 50 gusts. Here it looked like maybe gusts were maybe at 50 to 60 at times. So it got pretty crazy out where I am. Yeah, for me, winds clocked in at 46 miles an hour. That's pretty damaging. There was a lot of widespread power outages in my area, which I wasn't surprised about. I was surprised that I didn't lose power because I was actually expecting to. I mean, it doesn't always mean that you're going to lose power if you're in those wind events. It gives you a possibility that you would. But there was quite a lot of power outages. There was actually one, like, really quite close to me. Fortunately, I was not in that. And fortunately, I did not lose power at all. So I guess that's pretty fortunate for that. But yeah, a lot of wind did happen that day. So I remember Sandy, my power was out for like 2 weeks. I bet that was not good at all. Sandy did quite a lot. Yeah, as I've heard anyway. I was not in it because I wasn't in the spot I am right now when Sandy hit, but yeah, I bet that a lot happened. I think we all know that I was here when Isaias hit. That was this year. I streamed that like the day before it even make landfall. So yeah, and a lot did happen from Isaias. That was a very interesting storm. So most damaging storm since Sandy anyway. And actually a lot of the damage, if not most of the damage, was done from it being a tropical storm. So that really tells you that I mean, tropical storms can do a lot of damage. $5 billion in damage is a lot. That's what this storm did in total. And I'll probably guess maybe $4 billion of that damage was probably done from it being a tropical storm. So yeah, it did a lot. Hurricane watches posted for South Florida. Really? Oh yeah, you're right. All right there, all that pink. I did not see that when I was coming through here. So yeah, this has a possibility of becoming a hurricane. That's not off the table yet. And believe it or not, I know I say this, but I don't do it. The day that it makes landfall, I'll probably be going live. I usually go live once every hurricane. Well, that's what I've been doing recently, but I feel like I should probably be discussing more about this, all these wind events. I kind of regretted doing that for Zeta, but yeah, probably should have discussed a lot more about Zeta. And it was like literally making landfall, like the time I could have gone live, but I didn't. So I'll do it this storm though. Anyways, let's go ahead and move away from the National Hurricane Center, and let's actually go ahead and take a look at tropical tidbits. So let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS model. That is the model we're actually on right now. Let's go ahead and zoom into here. Can I get any closer? No, I can't. I guess that's the best I can get. So right now, 992 millibar pressure. Right now off the coast of Cuba, and they will be seeing impacts from this storm tonight. So of course it makes landfall right there, and then it actually well, the GFS says it's dropping down to 990, which is still tropical storm. So making an impact on the Florida Keys and southern Florida. 989 millibars on landfall in the Keys. And then this one shows it kind of going down a little bit. So it kind of shows it going in and going down like this. Let's take a look at that. And so it kind of shows it going down like that, and then it kind of curves up, which is kind of interesting. And actually shows it going down to 969 millibar pressure. So that's pretty interesting. I believe that is Cat 2 status, so we could be seeing a possible Cat 2 hurricane. And then it rises back up to 975 millibars. And then actually going down, it kind of circles around in the Gulf, and then it kind of goes down, and then it looks like it kind of hits parts of the Yucatan Peninsula. So that is pretty interesting. You're definitely correct, Electro. I'm not going to be surprised if Ada becomes a hurricane before landfall. I would not either. It is actually very possible. So, anyways, yeah, this one's showing landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is interesting. I'm seeing a very strange path with this storm already. Kind of doing something like that and then kind of going down. So that's pretty interesting of a hurricane path. More interesting than Hurricane Barry from 2019. That one was pretty interesting, let me tell you that. But anyways, that's according to the GFS model. Let's see, GFS Para. Does this one show anything really different? This one's showing landfall in the Panhandle and then going up the coast, which is very interesting. Like, it kind of rides the Carolinas and Virginia coast, kind of like that, or well, it's kind of going up like that, and then it does something like that, which is kind of interesting. That's according to this model I'm on right now. So that's pretty interesting. And then that's pretty interesting. Right there. So yeah, there's Ada. That's Ada making landfall in Florida, making landfall again in the Panhandle, going up the East Coast. And then we're seeing another one form here. And that looks to be a Cat 3. 950 millibar pressure, that's a Cat 3. Making landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. And then it looks to, unfortunately, well, this one doesn't show that actually. Close approach though, but fortunately it doesn't show it making landfall in this state here. And that's Louisiana. They've had enough. Okay, they've had enough. Louisiana. They don't need another one, and who knows if they'll get another one if it's possible. I mean, I have a feeling there's going to be tropical storms forming in December. Probably even into January, if I'm honest. So it's going to go on for maybe a couple more months. I mean, how this hurricane season has gone, it's quite insane. So I don't think we're over with this season quite yet. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, this model is showing a new storm forming in the Caribbean, and shows it as a Cat 3 making landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. So I'm going to say that's pretty interesting. I will not lie. So, and this is just the regular GFS model, which is showing it also making landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. And they've also had enough this year. They've had a lot this year. them in the Yucatan Peninsula. Um, so pretty interesting stuff going on with the storm at the moment. Let's go ahead and now go on to here. Of course, this is windy. I always use this, by the way. I'll let me post a link to this in the chat for you guys so you guys can just check it out on your own, because why not? I can bet every time a Cat 5 hits land, Jim Cantori probably told the hurricane to do it. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. Funny joke, by the way. I like it. He's usually in spots where they're going to be getting extreme weather, so makes sense. So here's what we're seeing right now from Eta. Of course, it is already starting to really affect Cuba. The upper part of the storm is impacting the country right now, Cuba. So they could be getting some pretty intense weather within the next coming hours. So this will be pretty interesting for them in Cuba. Let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery. That is the infra. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So pretty interesting look to it. Of course, right here is the center of the storm. So, and that is starting to really come onto land very soon. And it already kind of is coming onto land. So, yeah, that is pretty much the main part of it. Of the storm anyway. Eastern part, of course, is all this. This is where all the embedded supercells are. Eastern part of the storm. It'll potentially just impact all of these guys over here. So that's what we're seeing for the visible. Here's the infra. Pretty cold clouds. That tells you that it is a pretty impressive build to the clouds anyway. Pretty high up there probably. So very interesting to see this. But of course you can kind of see the I guess the spin to this part here. It's looks like that the center is right there. So yeah, that's what we have for that anyway. I view it on wrong thing. Oops. Radar scope, I cannot. I'd like to view it on radar scope so I can get some good radar data from it. We are seeing some lightning in the eye wall there, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, that'll move inland very soon. So always say prayers to everyone in the path of this, because you don't know what'll happen. Be extra cautious about tropical systems, even if they're tropical storms. Tropical storms can do damage, of course, like I was saying earlier in the stream. We saw from Isaias, and Isaias caused most of its damage probably from it being a tropical storm, unfortunately. So yeah, so very interesting stuff going on, and possible that we could be seeing more tropical systems after this one. How this year has been going, it is very possible. So I'll keep a lookout on that. So yeah, this is what we are right now seeing from the storm. I'm on windy.com right now. Looks like parts of Cuba are going to be getting 30 to 40 gusts tomorrow. Very possible, yes. That is later. They could be getting 78 gusts. Right now, the gusts of the storm are 70. That's what Windy's saying anyway. Let's see what GFS is saying. It's saying less. So I'm just gonna stick with the European model. Yeah, 72 gusts. That's what this one's saying. I feel like it's higher. Let's see with this 44, 45, and that's according to this anyway. What about GFS? GFS is saying something more accurate. For the winds, in my opinion, than the European model. I'm not crazy for saying that, but yeah. Alright, see ya. French. I'll just call you French. That's fine. Anyways, yeah, see ya. Thank you for joining into today's stream. But anyways, so yeah, this is what we're seeing for the winds for the storm. Here's the wind accumulation for the next 10 days. According to European model, it shows it kind of going up, making landfall in Cuba, making landfall in the Keys, and then going into the Gulf, going north. So it looks like it might be doing something kind of like this, and then going up into the Panhandle. That's just my guess for this model. GFS model probably will show what it showed on Tropical Tidbits. Yes, it does. Going up, making landfall in Cuba, churning to Florida, making landfall in the Keys. Then I think it's maybe doing something like that, and then going down to Yucatan. So yeah, that is very interesting to see. So I mean, I'm very uncertain about where the thing's going to go after it hits the Keys. Like, I don't know if it'll go up and hit the Panhandle or go down and hit the Yucatan Peninsula. I'm more confident about it going up, but GFS showing it going down. So that is very interesting. So I'll keep an eye on that for the next coming days. Rain accumulation probably showing the same thing. GFS, or sorry, European, showing it doing the same thing as the winds. Going up, landfall again, going down, and then going up, and then it'll probably keep going up and make landfall in the Panhandle. It'll probably say the same thing for the GFS. Yep, it does, or same thing for the winds anyway. Making landfall again. Have this big blob here, so that tells me it's gonna kind of go in circles like that, and then it'll go down and make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. So that is pretty interesting to see. Something I'd like to also share is the sea surface temperatures. Have not done that yet this stream, so always good to do that. So yeah, right now we are seeing 84. Well, the sea surface temperatures where the storm is, which is around here. 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And then up here it is 83, so that could maybe strengthen into a Cat 1 hurricane. So that'll be interesting to see. Just off of the Florida Keys, we are seeing 80-degree sea surface temperatures. So it's 80 degrees and up all the way. So that's pretty interesting. So that's what we're seeing for the surface sea surface temperatures right now. So extreme forecast, of course it'll say all this will be extreme because they are getting a pretty large storm headed their way. So warnings right now. Flash flood warning. There's flash flood warnings all in Jamaica right now. On the red. So yeah, and it's probably from the storm. From the tropical storm. That's pretty interesting to see. Yeah, of course, tropical storm warnings all over the place. Tropical storm warning, hurricane watch. That's, of course, it could probably become one. Waves, very high waves. For the whole path that is going. Let's see, right now we're seeing about 16-foot waves in the western part. So that's pretty interesting to see. Yeah, pretty high waves, not surprised about that. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, I guess that's what Windy has to say about this for right now anyway. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the severe weather risk. I'm just going to say today's. Anyway, so here's what we're seeing for today. We are seeing a marginal risk for kind of the southwest there. So we are seeing a risk for severe weather down there. Could bet you it is probably for wind. It sure is for wind. 5% wind risk down there. And then really the reason why I came on here is to show tomorrow's. That's the day after tomorrow. So which I will not really worry about. So marginal risk in southern Florida and the Keys, and of course that is for tropical storm Eta. And it's all for tornado risk. 2% tornado risk, of course. So that is pretty interesting to see right there. But anyways, I will go ahead and end the stream right now because I did discuss most things in the stream today. So yeah, please make sure to like the stream, subscribe to Electro Living Weather, my channel, and make sure to punch that bell. Receive notifications for every time I go live would be very appreciated if you did that. Make sure to join the Life of Weather Discord server. Link is in the description. Would be thankful if you did join that. We talk all the time on there about things. So if you want to join, if you have Discord and you want to join, please do so. I'd be very appreciated. But anyways, I've been streaming for 50 minutes, which is not too bad. Longest one I've done in a while. Anyways, yep. I'm gonna go and end the stream here. Thanks for everyone who watched the stream, and I will see you all soon, maybe tomorrow, for Tropical Storm Eta. And yep, I will see you guys soon. Thank you all for watching, and see you soon.